Hey guys, Paul Zakopoulos, episode 13, 5 minutes to save you 50. You know the drill by now, saving you hours and hours of time. This one, I think I could actually save you hundreds of hours, and that's going to be the very last tip. So today's going to be actually a mixed bag of tips. I work on a Mac, so the first 3 tips are going to be for Mac users, and the last tip is going to be for everyone. And that's going to be the kicker. If you don't do it today, my gosh, it's going to make you super productive. So we're going to cover on the Mac specifically, icon order, how to grab text from a screen cap, and how to move files. And we're going to finish off on how to get through more podcasts and learning quicker than ever before. And the trick is pretty simple. You just may not be applying it. So number 1 are icons. So if you're like me, as you install applications, you get a lot of icons here on the Mac, and you didn't, or maybe you don't know, you actually have control over how to order them. So if I hold the command line down, like I can actually decide where they'll appear, because maybe I always wanted my date all the way over here. And I found that to be quite powerful. And if you want to take it to another level, and it just saves you time from cluttering around trying to find stuff. And the reason is I do a lot of presentations, and when you change my screen resolution, I don't see all of these. And so this particular one right here, you can see, this allows me to turn off any sleep timers on my machine. So if I'm going to go on a keynote, but I don't start for an hour, I turn this little tool on. It's called amphetamine, but it disappears when I present. So I can hold command and move the amphetamine over here like that. And then it'll always be there. So that's really cool. And then on top of that, if you want a lot of control over these icons, watch what happens here. See, those are the ones I care about the most, right? There are other ones in here like volume, or this is a page capturing utility, or copy paste capturing utility. Here's my Adobe Creative account. I don't want to see that day to day. I find it distracting and hard to get to. So this is actually a third-party tool that allows me to do that. It's called Bartender. And so Bartender can go and control over any of these when they appear and when they don't appear. So whether you use Bartender or not, you know, if you want ultimate control of what shows up, but the order is for anybody, and you simply hit Command. All right, what's the next one? A popular screen capture tool. I absolutely love it. It's called Snagit, right? And there's a lot of features in Snagit that not everybody realizes about. I think about 90% of people, just like in PowerPoint, probably use it to do some screen caps, maybe some editing here and there. There's a really cool machine learning algorithm in here that actually grabs text from screen caps. So here you can see this is a screen cap, right? I saw it in a presentation, I liked it, so I go through and I screen cap stuff, and then I just leave them all here. And now I want to get that text to put in a presentation. And so here I can just go, let's see here, grab text. So edit, grab text, and it'll run the algorithm, and all of a sudden I have some text. You wouldn't believe how helpful that's going to be, not just for grabbing great lines that Deborah Leff put into one of her presentations on big data, but also grabbing information from spreadsheets and things that you need. And of course, you can just go and copy it, etc. And the other area where I use this a lot is with code. So here's a code that I saw someone post. Someone screen capped it. They didn't put code tags around it, so it comes in as an image, not searchable. What do? I go edit, grab text. You know the drill, and I pull the text out. So it's pretty accurate. It's probably about 90% accurate. That saves me a heck of a lot of time, even typing something out that I don't want to have to type out again. All right. The other one is actually moving files in a Mac. So that can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I find the control you have over some of this stuff isn't like in Windows, right? I can't necessarily always change names and all that kind of stuff, and moving files isn't as simple. So if I wanted to move this file to the download file, or to the download folder, well, then what most people will do is go here, and they'll start a new Finder window, and then they'll go to Downloads, and then they'll take it, and they'll drag it and drop it, and that's how you move it over. Okay, so I think there's a better way than that. You can, again, use something built into the Mac, which is helpful, and then go and get a really fancy tool. First, I'll show you what's built into the Mac. You can enable these tabs for Finder. So I open new windows in a tab. So I could go here and then just set the tab to download. So if I'm in this tab to downloads, well, then I can just take this and drop it on the tab name. Not everybody realizes that you can do that, right? And so all of a sudden it's in download. So that's a good thing. Another thing I like to do is actually use a tool called Yoink. So Yoink's kind of a neat tool. It will automatically pick up a drag and drop and give you a bucket from which to put something in. So maybe I'll go into some writing here. This is back when I did my MBA. I'll grab my notes, and that's Yoink. See how I just picked it up and put it there? And then I can come in here and actually go and take a peek at what it looks like. I can lock it so it sits there forever, or I can just go simply navigate to another folder and decide to move it. And so I think that's pretty powerful, and I can actually, start dropping all kinds of stuff there. You can configure it so it comes exactly where you're at. Obviously, I have multimedia in here now. You can see here's a video that I'm going to look at. So that's Yoink, and that's about file movement on the Mac, and just get rid of them one by one or move them all at the same time. So I think all of that stuff will help you in your day-to-day tasks. Now, the final one, which is for everybody, is really about how do I do a lot of learning? And depending on the speed of someone's voice, speeding up your video can have enormous payoffs. Now, I'm not talking about 2 to 4 times so it sounds like a Chipmunks Christmas album. I'm talking about speeding it up. I find some recordings I can do a 1.5 and follow along perfect, but 1.25, absolutely I can do that. And this also works for people who are English as a second language, or if you have someone who's a fast talker, you can slow it down. And I mean, this capability is everywhere. I think one of my biggest complaints are on some online learning services, either external or internal, is they actually take away that feature or they don't think about it. But I want you to think about it every day. And so, for example, certain media players probably don't support it. So on the Mac, I usually use something like VLC. And so in VLC, here's a video of mine that I recorded here. I'm just going to drop the volume down here.
Thank you for that.
Okay, so here I'm chatting, right?
We're always training since learning never ends. So you've been...
All right, so we'll turn that down. And now I put the playback. Now, if you're English as a second language, I need you to go slower. I just put it here. Okay? But then, and it's simple, let's go speed this up.
That's the journey you're on. And I wanted to share with you a tale of 2 Paul Z's, right? Here's a Paul Z over here, and that Paul Z loves...
So before you think I'm crazy, I'm going to put imagery on the video. So when I point there, it'll be a picture of a cartoon Paul Z. But that aside, right? The point here was at 1.25, you could actually hear it, and it just sounded fine. And that's a way, when you think about it, over the course of a year, if you took 100 hours to learn and you put this trick in there, you would get 25% learning more. You'd do 125 hours of learning. And consequently, if you try to do 400 hours of learning by video, you're going to get an extra 100 hours of learning in. It's that little stuff that adds up. So those are my kind of 4 tips. 5 minutes, save you way more than 50. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow me at BigData_Paul Z on Twitter.